Hi guys, welcome back. So today we're going to go down into the bottom part of the shed and get this XA fender blocked back. We've got stuff everywhere here. We've got the primer on there the other day, so what we're going to do now is give it a mist of some black rattle can and get in and get it sanded with some 240, and that'll show us all our highs, lows, lumps, bumps, whatever, and we'll get a coat of filler on it and get that block back. So the boys at Colourfast mixed up the base coat for me for the final colour that we're going to go, and yeah, looks good. So we'll get this all prepped up. Now coming up to Chrissy, we're probably going to start running out of time, but we'll do our best to get it done before Christmas. Alright, here we go. Okay, so that's just got to dry off quickly for a sec, and then that'll let us start sanding. It won't clog up too bad. Now, I'm not really worried about in there. That was all part of the patch panel that went in. Around there is definitely going to need filling, and down that edge there and over is where the crease was in the guard before we cut it out, so that'll need work. There is a ding in the middle there, and then we've got a lot of filling we're going to have to do through here where the lower patch was welded in, and there's a few little dings up through the top. But so yeah, on a whole it shouldn't need a lot, but it will need filler. Okay, so we've cracked the door to get a bit of air through here because all the rain's made it as muddy as hell. We've got some 240 on a soft back block, and we'll just give it a light work over. Not really using any pressure, just letting the paper do the work and holding the block flat. And you can see there through already where there was dings and imperfections in the actual fender, and then I made it worse by welding in, obviously. And that one there followed over from there. That was the crease going up. We did knock some of that out, but obviously not all. even this patch panel we welded in, you can see it wasn't the straightest, and even down through there it's got a few whoops that you can actually feel, and then nowhere close to where we were welding. So that's just how it came out of the stamping. And like I said, I wasn't stressed about that. I mainly want to get that concentrated on being smooth and everything else, and then those in the end we'll be able to go through and tidy up. And this should give you an idea of how rough it is. So, in and around that patch, it's going to need a fair bit of fill work and blocking. And those dints. And in through the nose here, where we knocked all that ding out of the front. And things like blemishes there, really shallow on there that might actually sand out. There's enough primer on there. And then just little edges along through there where we need to sharpen up the line around the fender. Blemish there and there. They were fairly shallow. They won't block out, they might block smaller. That'll rub out there. There. That's got that crease line there sharpened up a little bit, and there's a little bit of a dink in there. And then up there. So I'm going to run around the rest of the fender, keep going on with that, and yeah, we'll get you back in when it's all finished. Right, so we've blocked this all back. Now the lower section down here is not too bad. This part up through here is where we had to try and get some shape into that rust repair panel that obviously was welded through there because the factory stamping from rare spares was really shallow there. So there's pock marks and stuff where we've been hitting on it and a little bit of distortion from the heat. So we'll have to fill lightly in through there and then up where the join was in the wheel arch trim mold. And then this will probably fill from about here down to that body line. So it gives us something we can block out. We've got a small little ding up in there, and a little mark there on the body line. And a couple more through here. That was the one that did run and follow up through there over the body line and across the nose. So that part there, we knocked it out as much as we could. That's actually fairly shallow. We'll skim that when we actually do the outside edge of this where we've welded in. And this lower section here was all bent and folded in and buckled over. So we've pushed that out and hit that out as well. Across the top here, that was the ding there that come up through and was going through there, and there was one coming through there. All through there came out pretty good. There's a tiny little ding down in there, and along the nose here where the rust was, there's a couple little lows in there. Again, only fairly minor, they'll take a little bit of fill. Little nick there, and that is a high spot, and that's about it really. So all in all, this fender wasn't too bad. So while there's still a little bit of daylight and I can have the door open, not covered in dust, we'll mix up some filler and throw it in there, and we'll leave it for now and try and get to it bit by bit through the week. Rightio, so we've got the filler in roughly, and I mean rough. The hardener is a bit old and a bit gritty, which has done my head in. So it's like you got little hard bits in the actual filler, but it's the actual hardener that had it. And the weather is so damn humid and hot, this stuff is just going off so quick. So you don't really have time to work it or get it in neatly. But we've got everything on the guard filled, and then what we're going to aim for through the week, all going well, is getting in every night after work, and even if we just buzz a section at a time so we're not too late and annoying the neighbours too much, but we'll get in and work every spot, because I've tried to give down here a little bit of a hit to see how it would work, but it's set, but it's not set fully, so it's just really damn humid. So yeah, we'll leave it there for now. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the morning, or sorry, in the afternoon tomorrow after work, and we'll go from there. All right, see you later. Hey everyone. Okay, so it's Monday night. I've come down after work and ripped into all the filler with a DA and a 40 grit just to rough it in, because I was having a lot of issues with the filler going in on the weekend because of the hot weather and a lot of humidity, so it was going off really quickly. And again, I'm not great with filler, my least favourite thing. And so what I normally do is I've got the filler in just roughly to give a first fill, and then what I've done is roughed it all in with the DA, blocks and whatever I could use to get it flattened out. So now what I'm going to do, and I'm not going to pretend that that's anywhere near straight, but it's close. It's a lot closer than it was the other day. What we're going to do now is I'm going to fog a coat of black paint over all the sections that the filler are in, and then from there tomorrow I can come in and there won't be anywhere near the dust, so I'll be able to set the camera up and show you what we're doing. We're going to go back to the, what was it, the 240 grit paper on the block, and we'll go through and block it all with 240, and that'll take the coarse scratches out of the primer, and it'll also show us any of the low spots in the filler that we've either missed or because we were using a DA, maybe not sanded it 100% flat. Doesn't matter what anybody says, you cannot get the thing flat by using a DA. I use it to rough it in, and then we go over it with the block after that. So yeah, so that's where we are now. So I'll pop this up over here, we'll fog some black aerosol on and probably call it a night for now. So and again, we're only going to hit the areas where the filler is. So we're just checking to see any low spots. We know where the high spots are, there's a little dot where we've gone through everywhere. And yeah, we'll see how close we got it. Right, so that's just going to give us an idea of our lows and highs. Now I know on this section here, that's where the big crease was there when we welded that through, and it was quite heavily dented there, and because of the double panel and everything up under there, we couldn't knock it all out. So I know I'm a little bit shy there. And this part in here with the shape of the fender edge, I know it's a little bit rough. Down here was pretty good. The main part there and up on the top was all good and through there. And then again, the next section where we've welded this flute in, it actually hasn't come up too bad. So down here, there was a few through there. and then out here fed into where that crease was going across the top. So all in all, we've taken a heap of filler off that we put on the other day. So yes, we put a fair bit on, but you're better off starting with more so you've got it to remove. So alright, we'll leave it there for now. See you tomorrow. Bye. Hi guys, so we're back in the shed. We're going to do a really short one today so we can wrap this all up and get it out before Chrissy. So as you can see behind me there, not a lot of progress has been gone into it, but yeah, what can I say? Christmas, it's that time of year, work gets busy, people get busy, and we've got kid functions everywhere, so all good. So I'm going to flip the camera around, show you what we have done, and we'll get back into it. So what we were doing was we gave the filler we put in there a quick hit with some 80 grit to knock it into shape quickly and get the highs and the lows sorted out. The 80 grit cuts faster and will cut flatter than if you go to a really fine grit. Now all of that section through there has been done with 120 to get the 80 grit scratches out of it. And if you come back over here, where are we? So this section here where the filler is, if I lightly go over it with the 120, it should show up where all the 80 grit sanding scratches are. And we just guide coded it so we could find where the coarse scratches were from the 40 grit, or sorry, 80 grit. And this way we know when we've sanded enough with the 120. So we're not really trying to do any kind of shaping with this. We're just trying to keep the surface smooth, flat, and get rid of all of our sanding scratches. So all those ones up there started out like this, and that's just a really light go over, but you can see in there, if I get out of the light, where all the 80 grit scratches are. Now have to keep working that. So we're not going to work around here too much because there is still another low spot just there where I have to get a bit more in and a little shallow one there that I need to put a scraping more in. So things like there and there, we'll get a fine coat of filler again. Up here where the crisscross still is showing up, that does need a fair bit more sanding with the 120. holding it. So up there, slowly getting the scratches out, still more there, and a fair bit down here, but we'll probably fill from say here down to this body line again, which will take care of most of those anyway and give it a shape in, but from there up is realistically just going to need more work to get rid of those deeper sand scratches. Okay, so there's a couple of dark dots there, that are little chips that'll need a scrape in anyway. So that's pretty much good enough with the 120 grit paper, and that'll get a light skimmer filler over the top of that. We'll go through, do the same there, and then obviously this last patch here, and where are they? Here and here where the filler was in the nose. So that's where we'll leave it at that. Right, so that's where we're going to leave that one. I've got a lot more sanding to do on this one to get the coarse scratches out, and then a bit more fill work, more sanding again, and then we'll get another coat of high fill primer over the whole thing, let it sit to shrink back for a few days, and then there won't be any more fill work that we have to rub back on it. So from there we'll step into the finer papers, so we're not going to be leaving the gouges. We'll go into, I think I've got 240 and 320 grit there, which will then get it to the point where we will be right to get a coat of white sealer over it, because the colour I've chosen needs a light base. So we'll get the white sealer on, which will be a wet on wet, which I'll have to pick up in the new year. I don't have any left, so after we get back from the Chrissy break, I'll get the supplier to send a can of that over. We'll get it in white, and then we'll be able to shoot the colour on, and we'll see what colour the car's going to go. So again, thanks for sticking around, thanks for watching. From all of us here, we're going to wish you a safe and Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And remember, if you're drinking, don't drive. And yeah, we'll see you early in January. Thanks guys, bye.